Okay, what's going on, everybody? We are here. We are live. Thank you all for joining me today. I'm a bit late, to say the least, right? About 5 hours late. I told you guys I was going to go live at 2, and now here we are, 5 hours and 19 minutes past that time. But we're here, and let's get into the show. And I want to go through this relatively quickly because I am short on time right now. But if you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms, and please do not forget, most importantly, to follow me on Telegram at T Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. Okay, so now with the introduction out the way, let's get the show started. Let's get everything on the road, right? I want to start here, and I want to start with this. I remember, I want to say it was sometime last year, right? I had a members only live stream, and I asked this question. And I asked, are the civil rights gains of the past still relevant in 2026? Right. I think at the time it was 2025 when I said that. And when we were having that discussion, we were talking, and I believe my man Saul was there, if I remember correctly. Thank you for the support, Saul. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If I remember correctly, when we had that discussion, what I stated was that they are, but they do need to be refined, right? They need to be refined with new understanding for 2026 and beyond, given the drastic demographic shifts that have occurred in America. And that's what we see happening today. That's quite frankly what occurred with the Supreme Court today. We saw a refinement that's really needed. And it was necessary because today, when it comes to these different acts, bills, and amendments, they clearly only serve the Democrat Party, right? That's what they serve. They serve Democrats and Dems only. And Dems egregiously misuse, abuse, and misrepresent these bills, acts, and amendments to secure power. This is just a fact of the matter. And this time, they overplayed their hand. Right? They overplayed their hand because quite literally how we got here with this ruling is that Louisiana Dems tried to cheat, misusing the Voting Rights Act to create another Democrat district in their state off the back of the civil rights movement. And this time it backfired. And now they're crying. Right? They're crying slavery. If you didn't know any better, you let Hakeem Jeffries tell it. The Supreme Court reinstated slavery if you let them tell it. And I want to get into that right now. I want to play a little bit of what Hakeem Jeffries had to say. And when I pull this clip up, it's going to be really dark. I don't know why it's like that. Even when I went to Hakeem Jeffries' actual YouTube page, to actually pull the clip up from there, not from X, the video comes out really dark, as you can see right here. So just so you know, that's not my fault. I didn't do it. I guess the Congressional Black Caucus didn't pay the light bill before this press conference. But take a listen to what Hakeem Jeffries had to say.
And now we're at a point where affirmative action is gone, diversity is gone, equity gone, inclusion gone, racial tolerance gone, the Voting Rights Act largely gone. But guess what, extremists? We're still here. That's right. And we're not going anywhere. And we believe in this country. That's right. Not a perfect country.
Now, this press conference that the Congressional Black Caucus had here, it was basically a fear-mongering press conference for Black Americans, right? But I want you to really consider what he's saying right now. And I actually want to play it one more time, but I'm going to stop when I get to a certain point.
And now we're at a point where affirmative action is gone, diversity is gone, equity gone, inclusion gone, racial tolerance gone, the Voting Rights Act largely gone. But guess what, extremists? We're still here. That's right.
Take into consideration everything that he's claiming is gone, right? He's saying all these things are gone. If you're Black and you're listening to this, has anything in your life changed? Anything at all? It's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. So it really goes back. This brings us back to the question that I was posing earlier. from the private live stream that I had sometime last year, right? These things, whether they are here or not, aren't affecting you. We're not going backwards. We're going forward. And as we go forward, we need tweaks and refinements to the bills and amendments and acts of the past. And once again, that's what you saw the Supreme Court do today. But if you let them tell it, Hakeem, Jeffries, and the Democrats, because they want to misuse these things to cheat, you let them tell it, slavery has been reinstated. But once again, as you sat and you listened to him tell you about how all these so-called gains and whatnot are gone, your life is still the same. Nothing has changed. You wake up every morning, do the same thing that you've been doing, and you're going to keep waking up each morning and doing the same thing you've been doing. And now what I want to do next is I want to go over a few headlines, right? Because once again, they're really misrepresenting what the Supreme Court actually did today. When you just skim through these headlines. And I want to go through some of these next and then really get down to the bottom of what was actually done today and the ruling that actually came down concerning the Supreme Court. But take a look at some of these nonsense headlines here, right? Let me take a moment to pull this video down and pull these headlines up. Give me just a second while I do that. Okay. So take a look at this here. And shout out to Roger Wood. Roger Wood, I appreciate you for showing support to the channel. Thank you so much. Roger Wood said the Democrat Party is done. They're cooked. This ruling completely, honestly destroyed the Democrat Party. It destroyed the Democrat Party because once again, they overplayed their hand. They overplayed their hand. If they didn't try to cheat with this Louisiana congressional map, if they didn't try to cheat, none of this would have happened, but they played themselves. And I want to just go back to Saul real quick because I didn't actually read his message. I just referenced him. I appreciate you, Saul. He said, support TD. He left family dinner for us. I absolutely did. I absolutely did, because I never go live this late. I never go live this late, ever. So I definitely missed family dinner to be with you guys tonight. But I just wanted to get this to you guys here. And thank you so much, Papa Anaya Shelley, for becoming a channel member. I appreciate the support all you guys show me on this channel. I truly do. But take a look at this here, right? Supreme Court ruling weakens a key tool of the Voting Rights Act. It actually did it. It strengthened it. But this is just fear mongering, right? Look at this here. This is from Politico. Supreme Court ruling limits Voting Rights Act. It did it. It was refined and made stronger, quite frankly. This was from CNN. Supreme Court limits reach of the Voting Rights Act. Once again, if you let all these people tell it, the Voting Rights Act got stripped, we're going to have to do, I don't know, the paper bag test and all this other stuff now, if you want to vote again. But here's what actually happened. As you can see here, article title, Supreme Court tosses Louisiana House map in major Voting Rights Act win for GOP ahead of midterms. And I want to scroll down here and read this real quick, because I really just want to get down to the bottom of what was actually accomplished today, right? And how the Voting Rights Act was actually strengthened so that it could be applied properly and fairly and not misused in the way that Democrats consistently do, right? Check this out here. The Supreme Court struck down Louisiana's congressional map Wednesday, finding the Pelican State unconstitutionally added a second majority Black House district in a major decision that is likely to pave the way for Republicans to make major redistricting gains across southern states. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. They're saying that once these redistricting happen, Republicans are going to gain about potentially at its max 27 House seats. The Democrats played themselves so bad. They played themselves so bad. Louisiana had been forced by a federal judge to create a second majority Black district in 2024 to comply with Section 2 of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. which restricts states from diluting minority votes. Who was that federal judge that forced this action that ended up backfiring on the Democrats? This woman right here. Her name is Shelley Dick. That's her name, Shelley Dick. And as I zoom in a little bit more on Shelley, the Louisiana Democrat judge who played herself, as you can see here, she was appointed by President Barack Obama. All right. She's an Obama appointed judge. So if the Democrats are going to be mad at anybody, be mad at themselves and be mad at the judge for forcing Louisiana to implement that congressional map that was essentially unconstitutional, right? The Trump administration and state officials challenged the new map, arguing it was racially gerrymandered in violation of the 14th Amendment, which guarantees all citizens equal protection under the law. However, the majority opinion by Justice Samuel Alito stopped short of finding Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act unconstitutional, as many activists feared. And they feared it because they engage in fear mongering, right? So now let's discuss this for a moment. Because if you let DEMS tell it, you know, the Supreme Court judges, all the conservative ones, right? They're MAGA, totalitarian, extremist Supreme Court judges, right? That are also racist. You always got to sprinkle a little racism into it. They're also racist. I mean, if that was true, if Justice Samuel Alito was truly a racist, a MAGA extremist, then the conservative justices would have just outright removed the Section 2 as unconstitutional. But they didn't do that. And here's what Alito actually stated. Check this out here. Instead, the Supreme Court, for the first time, explicitly held that compliance with Section 2 can provide a compelling reason for race-based redistricting. So mind you, the racist, Alito, he's saying that, no, this Section 2 is necessary. You can provide a compelling reason for race-based redistricting, but essentially you just have to prove your point. You just can't do it flippantly. And as he goes on to say, Louisiana's situation did not meet the bar. So once again, if these people were as horrible as they say that they are, they were as racist as they say that they are, they would have just removed Section 2 completely as unconstitutional. To the contrary, Alito said, no. This is necessary. You just have to prove your point. And that's not what Democrats have been doing with this, okay? In short, Section 2 imposes liability only when the evidence supports a strong inference that the state intentionally drew its districts to afford minority votes less opportunity because of their race. Alito wrote, not only does this interpretation follow from the plain text of Section 2, but it is consistent with the limited authority that the 15th Amendment offers. Once again, they didn't weaken this. They strengthened it. They made it stronger, and they made it harder for Democrats to flippantly say, hey, you know what? We have a cluster of Black residents here that we can just turn into a congressional district. And we're going to say it's because of racism. And for years, they were able to just do this without having to provide any evidence of this, any evidence. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's amazing that Republicans are even able to win elections. Whereas as much as Democrats cheat, misuse and abuse and stuff like this, it's actually mind-blowing that they're able to win elections at all, right? Because that's how they've been operating, misusing Section 2 of the Civil Rights Act. They didn't have to provide the evidence. It was just because I say so. And courts and judges just complied up until now. And the Democrats only have themselves to blame for this. Why is that? Because they overplayed their hand. You cheated one too many times. You knew good and well that what you were doing was wrong in Louisiana, right? You Democrats and you liberal activist judges, Obama approved appointed Judge Shelley Dick. You knew what you were doing is wrong and you got caught. And now that you've been caught red-handed and you're now potentially going to have, instead of one more extra Democrat district in Louisiana, you're now potentially looking at 27 Republican districts being formed throughout the South. As now these maps start flipping and flipping and flipping and flipping. Hey, man, all I got to say is thank you. I'm glad that they did this. I'm glad that they played themselves. It's going to make things a whole lot easier when it comes to just doing away with liberal nonsense in the House, right? Hey, Roger Wood, thank you so much. He said an extra $5 for some tap dancing shoes and butter biscuits. Oh, the biscuits are good, brother. The biscuits are good. You see, you're Roger Wood, you're gonna pull me into another state of mind that I don't want to go into right now. I see what you're doing, Roger Wood, and I'm not gonna fall for it. I'm not gonna fall for it. I know what you're trying to do. But I mean, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for today's stream. This is a short one. I don't want this to be too long, but I really just wanted to get down to the bottom of what this was really about. Nothing was taken away. Nothing was removed. Nobody's losing anything. The Democrats just got caught cheating, red-handed. And now, to cover for the fact that they're cheating, they wheel out the Congressional Black Caucus, as we played earlier, as they're talking in the dark. They wheel them out to fearmonger Black Americans and saying, oh my God, we lost this, we lost that, we're losing everything. They're going to reinstate slavery, because that's their only defense. They got caught cheating and now they're crying racism. Isn't that something? That's crazy work. Cheating, getting caught doing it, and then saying, hey, you're racist for catching me. That's the liberal way. That's the liberal Democrat way, man. And once again, with all that being said, that does it for today's stream. So I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. It's about what? 10:30 on the East Coast. Go to bed, get a good night's sleep, maybe have a late dinner. That's what I'm about to do right now. Well, I'm not about to have a late dinner. It's only 7:30 for me. The sun's still out. I'm gonna go home and have dinner, and I will catch you all tomorrow. And shout out to my man Papa Onaya Shelley. I appreciate you with the last minute buzzer beater super chat. He said, upgrade them biscuits with some good grass-fed butter. I'll definitely do that. With some grass-fed butter, and I'm gonna get that with my EBT card. Because you can still buy butter with the EBT card. You can't buy junk food anymore, but you can buy butter. You see, Papa Onaya Shelley, I knew this was going to happen. Papa Onaya Shelley and Roger Wood, you're about to take me to another place. I'm gonna get a little bit too comedic with it, and that's not what we do on this channel. This channel, we're serious over here. Okay, I give you the news. We don't do a bunch of jokey. So let me go ahead and get out of here. Papa Onaya Shelley and Roger Wood, I'm not gonna let you, pull me into a different direction. So you guys all have a good night. And I will catch you all tomorrow. Peace, and have a great evening and a safe one.